Good morning, everyone. It's Rifgal. And since I managed to complete my Final Fantasy IV run in 2 days instead of three, or in two videos instead of three, I decided I was going to do kind of a fun, casual thing. So we're going to be playing some Vampire Survivor. I'm going to go ahead and I think we're going to start with, let's just start with Antonio as the default. This is a kind of twin stick shooters bullet hell game. Well, you'll see. uh, I feel like I play a lot of the games that are, and I guess let's just start with the beginning. Let's start with one. Let's turn hyper off though. And we're gonna take, I think I want, yeah, it's our Bond of Healing. Okay, so this is, like I said, a twin stick shooter. Plays like a twin stick shooter, like Smash TV or something like that, except you only actually need to use one controller. Let's go Garlic. So all of the attacks that it does are tied to, let's see here. Let's actually skip that one. All of the attacks are on timers and with specific directional instructions. So Garlic is an aura around you. The whip is those attacks to each side. Very clearly Castlevania-based inspiration. Let's go Bible. With the main character having the whip. And most of the, at least starting items that you can get are the sub-weapons from Castlevania. Now, as you go, you can unlock a bunch of different stuff. And at this point, I've unlocked pretty much all the stuff you can. I think there's a couple hidden characters that I don't have yet. But the base premise of the game is just dodge enemies, kill enemies, survive, and ideally power up enough that you can continue to do so. There will be more and more and harder enemies, so you just need to continue powering up. You can see there it's got a little Evo next to this one. You can create combos by taking certain power-ups. Actually, let me pause real quick here. So there are 2 rows of power-ups up there. The top row are weapons. You can have up to 6 of those, and the bottom row are other abilities. You can have up to 6 of those as well. So as I'm selecting what weapons to take, that is, I'm kind of like trying to think through a build, like what works well together, what works well with this hero, what works with the stage even. Let's go. figures. I didn't take the lightning ring, and then I got the item that goes with it. Hollow Heart. We want to get the evolutions on all of the items if we can. So, this is both a... I've been playing this a lot as kind of a unwinding after work time waster game, because it is so good at exactly that. It's not, I mean, it's not like it's super challenging and complicated. A lot of the games that I play, you kind of... A lot of the games that I play, you don't actually want to play in that mindset. Like, even the games that I don't stream, a lot of them are, you know, RPGs and stuff. They require some thought. They require some attention. And while this definitely does require attention, because if you slip up even a little bit, you're gonna start getting smacked around. Finally got a treasure chest. Treasure chest gives you a random item that you already have, or if you have the weapon maxed out, you can potentially evolve it. Let's go Crown. Crown's gonna give us more experience. So yeah, this is definitely not something that I would think of myself as being like one of my go-to style of game by any means, but it hits just that sweet spot for me. It also has a time limit, which is kind of neat. So you can see that the clock is counting up, and different stuff spawns as it goes on. Let's go ahead and just do very Castlevania-y stuff. So the controls are very simple, but there's a lot that goes on it, so it still is very focused and very, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a bit of intensity to it, even though there is this it like has this mindless feel to it, but it still requires a lot of attention, and a lot of the movement to it is very precise. You know, it's little motions to try and minimize how many hits you're taking, to try and maximize how often you're getting those hits in, to control the direction of whatever your weapons are. And a lot of it is also what your build is. It's coming up with the synergies, so like Antonio gets strength bonuses. So having things that are good with strength bonuses work well for him. This is going to give us our first evolution. We should be able to evolve the whip here. The Arcana, the tarot card that I took at the beginning, is tied to healing. So we want stuff that gives healing and stuff that works well with that. We want stuff that the items work together. So the item for, what is that called? the item that works with the books is duration. And that actually works really well with the garlic as well. And those two kind of complement each other in that way. The garlic increases knockback, so having stuff that hits near you is good with it, and that hits in multiple directions. So in this case, we're aiming for it's stuff like the axes go up, so that's knockback that way. The whip goes side to side, that gets knockback that way. And the books just give us this kind of radius of protection that makes it a lot harder for things to get in. I didn't realize that my healing ability that I have works with the chicken items as well. So I'm going to abuse that to just be able to punch through this. Let's go ahead and grab garlic. Those swarms of bats are really a good way for us to get a bunch of low-end gems. By the way, the gems are basically experience. You can see the bar filling up at the top. We didn't end up getting our evolution, which I just realized. We would really like to kill that bat, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to right now. We're getting pushed around a lot here. The first level, despite being the first level, is honestly one of the harder ones, which I kind of hesitated. Okay. I think we go duplicator here. Spellbinder, that's the thing I was talking about earlier. There we go. Blue crystals are, I think, 1, green are 5, and I think red are like must be like 100 or something like that. I don't know exact ratios there, but the blue are worth the smallest amount, and the red are worth the most. Let's go ahead and get lightning ring here. Lightning ring just doesn't work quite as well with this build because it's not right next to us. So it doesn't work with the garlic that way. But the duplicator does work with the axe, the whip, and the books very well. Come on. This is now me being greedy, trying to get back around. Okay. Let's stop being greedy. We're gonna... There, the treasure chests don't go away when you go off screen. That'll help. Okay. For some reason, we're still not getting the reward, which is a little odd. So yeah, the time limit is basically a half hour. Technically, you can go longer than that. In fact, one of the like challenge things, achievements is to do that, is to survive 31 minutes. When you get to the 30-minute mark, it spawns death. And death kills you, because it's death. There we go, finally. Okay, so this is the Evolved Whip, and what that does is it gives HP Absorb. Now, with our build, with the card, that means that every time I'm hitting something with the whip, it does a huge AoE of just extra damage, because I do extra damage based on healing. I think we're gonna go... Let's go Bracer, actually. Just up the projectile speed a little bit. Gives us just a little bit of extra power, specifically with the whip being able to go back and forth the way it does. Let's see. We don't have the ability... We don't have the Axe's special yet, and we don't have the Garlic yet. The Garlic's is one that appears on the battlefield. You can see on the map here the heart at the bottom. So what we're gonna try and do is get the Axe first. That'll be our 6th one. And then we can go down and get the heart. And that'll be... it'll actually bump it and give us a 7th, which is pretty helpful. Stuff that's out on the field you can pick up after, and it gives you extra, effectively. Okay, we get another Arcana. Let's see what we get as options. +3 revivals, critical hits, or bounces on our axes. Let's go ahead and grab this. That gives extra critical on our whip. Axe. Bible. So as far as the timing goes right there, you could see one of the things I was doing was pushing through the crowd while the Bibles were active, and then pulling away as they ran out to give them time to get back up. I don't want the pentagram. We took the crown as kind of an extra thing. There we go. And I probably should have just gone with the knife when I had the option to. Should be able to... Nope. Thought we were going to be able to trap the bat against the wall there. The blue one is a boss... Or the ones with the blue outline like that are effectively boss fights. And that's where the treasure chests and the red gems come from. Okay, it is time to head down now that we've got 6 items. we're going to collect the stuff that was on the ground for the level, because that's going to give us a bunch of extra stuff. So occasionally when I pick up a red gem, it seems like it gives a huge burst, and the reason for that is because there is a sprite limit to how many gems can appear on the screen. There we go. So the knives show up whichever direction you're facing, which can be really nice for punching through, especially with the garlic. We also get crits with it, and it fits with the bracer, so yeah. I should have taken it. I don't know why I didn't. I don't remember if we actually have anything... Oh yeah, the garlic should be ready to upgrade? No? No, we don't have the option for it yet. Never mind. We don't have the item with it. Yeah, we do need to push through down here and get that. So yeah, when the sprite limit is exceeded, it starts putting any extra experience that you've earned into red gems. So if you pick up a red gem, sometimes it'll give you this huge burst of experience, and that's usually because you haven't been scrolling the screen, and it's accumulated all of the wealth into that one spot. I generally speaking try and upgrade my weapons first. Just because you need the weapons maxed out to evolve them, you don't need the support items maxed out. Okay, we're gonna wait for the plants to die down. So about every 5 minutes, you get effectively a big boss fight, which in this case is that werewolf. And in this level, they come in surrounded by plants. Spellbinder, not actually that great at this point. It's not bad though. Definitely not what we were looking for. We'll go with that. Okay, the plant circle is gone. The regen from our whip is carrying a lot. And that gives, we just got 8 with the axe, and we're about ready to get 8 with the book. So now, the next time we get a treasure chest, hopefully one of those will evolve. Pushing through a little bit aggressively because I do want to get down. I can never remember the name of this. It's like the Pulminator or something like that. It basically gives you regen, which again works very well with this build. That's part of why we do why I like to do garlic with it. kind of outpace some of the enemies during a phase change. So stuff that's on the screen will stay on the screen, but if you scroll the screen, it'll start spawning the new enemies if you are moving between, basically if it was ready to change enemies anyway. Okay, and then I think from here I'm gonna go kind of start heading this way. Well, actually the clovers are closer. You can technically fill up, I mean, as many items as you've got available on the map. So if we hadn't done the empty heart, we would have been able to get that as one of them. We can technically go get that skull, but that increases the number of enemies on this that show up. Okay, we got an evolution. Awesome. So now the axes aren't going to go in that arc above us. They've turned into sides that are going to shoot out in all directions around us. This is where we start getting into the really powerful stuff. And again, while the axes didn't necessarily work terribly well with the garlic because of the fact that they only shot above us, now they shoot in all directions. So again, it helps keep the enemies away from us with that improved knockback from the garlic. Okay, let's slow down just a little bit. It seems like the spawn rates are increasing a little bit since we're hitting the 20-minute mark. Let's see if we can use that. Yeah. See if we can... Oh, there's the boss. Big mummy. So those bat swarms, while very useful by themselves, also kind of shove all of the enemies around you, which is potentially problematic. Okay, hopefully this will be the garlic upgrade. Book upgrade is good too. So book upgrade is, instead of the Bibles rotating around you and then stopping, it starts and then it just keeps going. So there's no longer that gap that we need to worry about when the duration runs out. This is one of the reasons I said that I'm not super worried about finishing Spellbinder. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the crown, lightning ring, max out crown, knife, and a Labrador. Bracer, knife. Lightning ring's almost maxed out. Candles are good. Lightning ring's maxed out. Bracer. Remember what I was saying about red jewels that just store all of the stuff from a screen? Okay. Oh, Arcana. Okay. So at this point, we've got nothing for that. That's not good. I guess we go disco. We didn't get... Ideally, I would have liked to get the one that bounces your weapon attacks. But you don't always get a full set that goes together. We would have been able to... It basically would have made it so that our knives and our axes, specifically, bounced off of enemies. So when we're in a big crowd, instead of just going through once or hitting something and then stopping, they would go back and forth between enemies within that crowd. One of the other builds that I like to do is completely built around that concept, the bouncing projectiles, and just basically trying to get as many projectiles on the screen as you can. That's the lightning ring upgrade. Wait, no, that was the garlic upgrade. So we now have this big expansion on the garlic circle. It's now just this black void. The other thing with that is it actually gives us some healing, which means that it causes that ripple out. Also means that there's basically this little zone of death where they have to go through the books and the garlic field before they can get to me. And usually by the time that happens, the axes and the knives and the lightning have started doing their job. Got a bonus. Five. Okay. We hadn't gotten any chests with more than one item yet. That time we got one with 5. You can technically get a bunch of them. Oh, never mind. That was an evolution on the knife. So, much like with the books, the knife one, instead of shooting in waves, it just doesn't stop. I apparently missed the clover. The clovers increase your luck. Which makes it more likely that you will get either 4 chances on your regular item level ups, or 3 or 5 items out of a chest. So at this point, we can really bully our way around. Although I do feel like we're leveling up a bit slowly at this point. Probably because we're pushing through so much instead of stopping to fight. I'll probably just need to stop focus, because we are getting to the last 5 minutes. Okay, this is the actual level boss. We kind of just wrecked it. Awesome. There's the lightning upgrade. So now we have the upgraded versions of all of our weapons, which is the important part. Because this is when the game gets kind of silly. In a fun way. Okay, so with that out of the way, I don't think we're going to make it over to the other items. So I think we just kind of start making small circles here where we focus up and just get as many kills as we can. I'm going to intentionally leave that red gem on screen. Again, there's a sprite limit. We can kind of use that as fuel. Fill it up as much as we can, and that way we don't have to wander around collecting all the gems as much. It's kind of rotating so that our knives aren't pointed in the same direction every time. But at this point, we're very well protected. This is a very solid and safe build. And as I said, I've unlocked pretty much everything in this game at this point. There's a few more upgrades that I could afford it, but not much. So it goes a long way. Most of the objectives that you have to try and do, it starts off with just surviving till the end of certain levels, surviving X amount of time with certain characters, 10-15 minutes out of the 25, or out of the 30, beating the bosses in each level. And then as you get to the end, or as you unlock more, the objectives become reach level 100 with each character. Which you can see, I only got up to 75 this time. Now, we're not at the end yet. There's a chance that we'll get up to 100, but it's going to be very tight for us to actually hit that window. I did most of my level 100 runs on the second level, which I find to be much more accessible than the first level. Partially just because you don't have to move as much. Okay, so as we get into the last couple minutes, the amount and type of enemies really ramp up. You can see now we're just surrounded basically by the type of enemies that were dropping red gems. You know, these are the things that were bosses at the beginning of the game. And they don't drop treasure chests for this section, but they just are everywhere. 1 minute left. We are definitely not going to be able to survive once death spawns, but that was not my intention with this run by any means. Like, you have to specifically build towards that if you want to be able to survive once death shows up. Technically, you can kill death. I do not know. I've read a few things on how to do it, but hey, we got 100. I do not actually know. I haven't succeeded. That's one of the things I still need to do. You'll see what I mean in a moment here. So, once you run out of stuff to upgrade, you just end up getting these money bags. And what those are the money is what you use to buy the upgrades. There's death. And we're dead. So, death kills you very quickly. We do have a revive. And you can technically do enough damage to kill him. However, he gains power based on your level. So you really have to work at it and build a specific way to do that. So yeah, when I was talking about all the upgrades, so this is what I'm talking about just as a base, much like any, much like the roguelikes and such. Each time you play, you start over, but like most roguelites, you can earn. Wait, I was on max curse. Hey, that was why I was having a little trouble with that. Curse increases enemy speed, health, quantity, and frequency. We had it maxed out at 5. So, hey, that makes me feel a little bit better about struggling a little in the middle. You can reset your money as much as you'd like and to rearrange these. So, like, if you don't want max curse, you can. Oh. But yeah, that's why. So you can start with 2 projectiles. You can get extra luck. You can get extra experience. There's a bunch of them that are just reached certain levels, get to certain levels in certain stages, reach level 100 with certain characters, certain time limits with different characters. And then each of those, or some of those, unlock the characters as you go. You can unlock, and each of them starts with a different weapon and has a slight bonus, usually associated with gaining levels. So each of them has a slightly different playstyle. The game is pretty repetitive, but it's still fun, and I like the fact that the achievements and the power-ups continue to give you something to build towards. Because you genuinely do start with, like, I think it's the whip, the knife, just the very basic stuff. And by the time you get to this point, you are doing crazy bullet hell stuff, which is really neat. So yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to do more runs of this. If I do, I might try a different build setup or something. But I don't feel like this needs to be a whole series. I do think that this is a fun game. It's a good kind of way to unwind, a good time waster. And something that I've kind of been dabbling with in the background. obviously. In between when I've been recording and stuff. So just kind of wanted to do a little, this is another game, another type of game that I'm enjoying, another recommendation I have if you're looking for that sort of game. You definitely got a good idea of it from that run. It's about what it is. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you would like to see more videos like this, either more of Vampire Survivors or more just kind of the games that don't really make a good full series, but could make a good demo, let me know. And as always, have a good one. We'll catch you next time.